And do you have any advice for students who maybe want to get into your lab or any of the other labs?
Well, first of all, I think getting research experience is very important for an undergraduate. For one thing, it's important to find out if you don't want to go into research. It's good to have an experience and find out that it's not for you. But I think that most students find that it is an exceptional experience as an undergraduate student that's very different than when you get in the classroom. And also students usually find that they perform better in their classes when they are actually doing in the lab. The experience is being part of a group and part of a scientific community of interacting people who are helping one another learn. And I think that that experience is also as valuable as the project itself.
In the beginning, it almost doesn't matter which lab or what you're doing. The important thing is get exposed to how good research is done. Every professor loves having students come tell them that they're interested in their work and they want to volunteer in their lab. So be assertive and go out there and talk to professors and go get what you want.
I'm very eager to take sophomores or juniors who are willing to put in more than a year and a half, or 2 years, depending on when they start. There's a lot of labs at UCSD, but there's far more undergrads who want to do research than there are lab opportunities. So my advice would be to email lots of professors, include a cover letter, and if you can, a resume or CV, and including your grades and coursework is really helpful. Those who have read a couple of my papers, who mention that in their cover letter, who show interest in the specific topic that I'm talking about, usually sets them apart and gets them an interview at least.
You could apply to defined internships. My first experience working in a lab was as part of a summer internship at the NIH. It's a good idea to kind of find out what it's really like before you apply to graduate school, and you'll also have a much better chance of getting into graduate school if you have some research experience.
What do you normally look for in an undergrad?
What I'm looking for in an undergrad student is someone who give it a really good try. Like, give it a really good try. I mean, they have to be earnest. They have to when they say they want to do research in my lab, that they really try to become engaged and to own their research project, that they're going to give it their best until they know whether it's for them or not.
Do a powerful assessment of what you want, right? So to join a lab and to get on a project, and then ask yourself, are you really enjoying the science that you're doing, the techniques that you're using, and to seek out opportunities. You know, if you end up deciding that you want to change your focus a little, to follow your gut and your heart.
What are the typical responsibilities of students in your lab?
The first quarter in the lab is basically almost like a class. You're just learning the techniques, you're learning the topics, you're reading papers to familiarize yourself with the field. You're shadowing postdocs and grad students to observe techniques and actually learn them and master them. And then in a few cases where undergrads have been in the lab for more than a year and have really done an excellent job and mastered all the techniques, then sometimes I will assign them their own independent project that they'll do.
The undergraduates in my lab have a variety of different responsibilities. I think we have 4 of them in my lab right now. So one is actually paid to do basic lab maintenance. There are other students doing different types of behavioral assays to study the relation between sleep and learning and memory. And then we have another student that's doing a combination of biochemistry, molecular biology, cell culture, and fluorescent-based ion flux studies as well. So there are a lot of different things going on in the lab, even at the level of undergraduate research. So it's a great place to work.
But what's really important to me is that as their hands get solid in the lab and they understand how to get things done, that they move quickly into independent projects. The undergrads we've had come through the lab, most of them, I would say more than 80%, have been authors on papers.
Tell us about how you inspire others in your lab, like your undergraduates, your graduates, and your postdocs.
My goal is to take the interests that are expressed by my students and channel them in productive ways. Save them the time of figuring out when things are not workable, but really developed ideas that are coming from within.
New ideas are always welcome, and instead of trying to repeat what other people have done already, the best is to think about a project in a very creative way and try new things.
We also prize them to make mistakes and to be honest communicating their mistakes. It's the only way we can fix them. And just reinforcing them to, okay, what can we do different? Can we think something to improve?
Once you get into a lab, my advice is work really hard and ask a lot of questions. That's the only way that you're going to learn. I guess aside from that, I would recommend don't be afraid to make mistakes. Try hard to avoid them, but definitely don't let the fear of making mistakes prevent you from taking risks. That's how a lot of basic discoveries are made.
I like to work with my students and help them in their career direction. Do they want to go to medical school? Do they want to get a PhD? What is it that they want to do? And then I have a fairly big network of connections, so I'm happy to help them